I said, no, we're going to file a suit against this guy. And after we get the suit filed, then we'll answer the phone for the man. Then we'll try to negotiate a settlement. But don't try to negotiate a settlement until we have something in the court.
Aren't you worried that they're going to arrest you for, practicing law without a license or something?
I don't practice. How do I practice law? What do you mean by practicing?
That's what they call it. That's what they would say.
Somebody asked me that today. It's not practice law. What was I get that onto that poor man about? I think something about taxes. Income. He said to me, income. He says, I said, did you make any income last year? He said, well, no, but I made income the year before. I said, The way I define income, it's 16 feet tall, it's orange with black spots, and it eats tall trees and leaves off of tall trees in Africa. Usually you guys refer to it as a giraffe, but I call it income. So if you believe that I'm practicing law, that's a lovely belief. Do I believe I'm practicing law? No. So see, you can't be held liable for your beliefs. So if I believe there's a God, can you hold me liable if I'm wrong? No. See, so if somebody says you believe that you're practicing law, practicing law. Now, how do you find practice? You mean practice like am I trying to do it? Am I attempting to do it? Am I guessing how to do it? What's practice mean? Like, am I practicing to play a baseball game, or I'm with the New York Yankees and I'm actually playing the game? Are you trying to say I'm practicing to maybe one day be a New York Yankee? Or are you saying I'm playing baseball, so I am a New York Yankee? What are you talking about? Practicing. And it's their definitions. Why could I possibly care less what they want to define? There's no law on planet Earth that one man can't aid and assist his fellow human being. It's called being a good Samaritan. So if you're saying that an attorney in a legal society is saying it's illegal to be a good Samaritan, oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah, I guess they would pretty much outlaw or try to make it illegal to be a good Samaritan because there's no money in being a good Samaritan. How much money can they make if everybody just goes around helping their fellow man for, because they want to?
You don't want to make you get a license to be a good
to get practically to permit me to help my fellow man. Is the government? So let me see. Man created the government.
Here.
No, let's say that for laughs. Man created the government. So man created the government so the government could tell a man if he could help another man. Oh, that's interesting. So I'm going to be bound as a man by a government not created by me, that I'm not under any obligation or oath or duty to abide or serve or submit myself to. I'm not bound to them. So you're saying if the government of Mexico is upset that I'm practicing law, or England is upset, or Canada's upset, or the United States is upset, somehow you're saying I'm bound because I'm in the United States or I'm in Canada? How am I in the United States? I just walk upon the land. I'm not in the land. I walk upon the land. So I'm not in anything. So you say, oh, ain't you in the United States? No, wouldn't that hurt? Wouldn't that be kind of confining and binding? I guess I'd be in the ground when I'm dead, but no, I'm not in the land. I walk upon the land in a place that you folks refer to as the United States. But am I in the United States? That's ridiculous. Of course I'm not in the United States. Why, are you in the United States?
Does the hospital administrator hold any liability, or does the
agent? Because the woman said to you, are you threatening me? Are you trying to tell me that if I don't do this, you won't let me take my property out that door? That's all she had to say.
That's right.
She said, you do know what you just did was extortion. That if I don't do something because you tell me to do, or you order me to do it, are you telling me that you're going to hurt me? You're going to cause me harm? Is that what you're saying? Well, if you want me to sign that piece of paper, ma'am, I'll be glad to sign that piece of paper. But you know what? You're going to have to come up with $1 billion up front first, and then I'll sign it. You want to order me? Order me. But I demand fair and just compensation to carry out your orders. You want me to perform a function? Fine. You're getting paid to be here and talk to me? Fine. I want to get paid to answer you.
I don't know. I think it's an uphill battle, really, honestly, because, there's no way to really, unless, like I said, not unless this private administrative process is basically the way to go, where I just write her a letter and say, do you dispute, that, or
He just told you what to say.
I mean, that's what you would have said. That's what she would have said in the instance that the agent approached her.
Okay, now all she has to do is go to who's ever holding the child and say, I wish for my property to be restored. I wish for the immediate restoration of my property. That's it.
That's it.
Who's got it? Grandma?
Yeah, Grandma's got it now. And as a matter of fact, Grandma, see, he had to hire the male friend of this scenario here of mine. Basically, he had to hire a private investigator just to find out where the baby was being located, because at the time when CPS approached her at the hospital the day the baby was supposed to leave, I guess pursuant or respective to the contract that they signed, the baby was supposed to be going to the grandma's address. But in fact, the grandma had not went from the hospital to there for whatever reason. She went to her boyfriend's house and kept the baby there at another location that was not on record. So the private investigator comes back with this report, like 2 pages, and says that he interviewed, he sat at the lady's house, trying to locate her for a couple of days and was unsuccessful. So he interviewed a couple of neighbors, and the neighbor said that she hadn't been home for several weeks, and that, they would be, that necessarily she hadn't been home in a few weeks or whatnot, and they didn't know where she was. Well,
okay. Before you're going too deep into this.
Yes, that's right.
Very simple. What state did it happen in?
Texas, of course.
Okay. No, not of course. Mine was Alabama. It happens everywhere. It's no big deal. What I'm saying is, who is liable if the baby drowns or the legs get broken? Is the state of Texas liable? Is the county liable? Or is grandma liable?
Like grandma, I mean, apparently.
Is grandma considered a foster care provider?
I wouldn't.
He's not. He's telling you to ask those questions.
Right.
I see.
I'm asking you, right? If the baby accidentally drowns or gets strangled by his own diaper, whatever. Okay, who is the mother going to sue for the damage to her property? Who is she going to sue? Grandma, or is grandma considered a foster care provider, or is DFAC or CPS or DHR or DSS? Are they still have the capacity to place the child?
That'll put the fear of God into them.
Yeah.
Angela?
Huh?
I'm sorry, I barely heard what she said.
I just said that would put the fear of God into them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you going to be liable? Are you taking full liability for this, child then?
Yeah, that'll put the fear of Lentz in them.
Well, I tell you what, no matter what, I think they signed a new lawyer to the case.
Forget about lawyers, man. It ain't common sense unless it's Lentz sense.
All right, well, thank you, man. I appreciate the information, and I really don't know.
Man, just go find out, man, who bears liability if the child gets injured, harmed, who is bearing the liability? This is her property. And if this girl or the woman, whoever who bared this child, doesn't have the understanding of what the word property is, she will never get her property, the restoration, it'll never occur. If she keeps saying child or baby or infant or kid or offspring or prodigy, if she uses any other word other than property, the government's going to not recognize it as hers.
Okay.
So she has to define it exclusively as it's her property. It's exclusive to her. Nobody else with the society can make a claim for it. And all she has to do is wish for its immediate return. That's all she has to do. Nothing else.
So she writes that directly to the grandma? Because I mean, there's other players.
Right, and grandma's gonna tell her go F off, right?
I believe so.
Good. Then now you just take that F off and you take it to your local mom and pop little district small, what you guys would call a small claims court. To me, if it's a penny, it's worth making a claim for. I'm going to make a claim, and you guys want to call small claims, call it anything you want. It's just a claims court. Just go down to your local court and just file a claim that she has my property and I require its immediate restoration. And that's it. And the court clerk will say, oh, okay, fine, and she'll stamp it. And like I said, that when I did with the folks in Canada, I said, see Exhibit 8. I put the child's name down. I said, see Exhibit A, and I attached a photo of the baby to the, 4 kids who see Exhibit A, B, C, and D. So the court clerk can't give you any boo. They just say, see Exhibit A. So after the court clerk stamps it in and files it, says, okay, we'll have the grandma summons. Where's Exhibit A? It's like, I forgot Exhibit A. You know what? I'll bring it down tomorrow, and I'll make sure the other side gets a copy of it. Because then when she sees Exhibit A as a baby, then the court clerk's going to be like, oh, I thought you meant a yo-yo, a pogo stick, or a bowling ball.
And they named it out.
I didn't know you meant baby. It was like, don't worry about it. It's my property. Don't worry about it. And I make the immediate claim that I want the restoration to occur immediately, and let grandma come forth and try to prove that that's her property.
Yeah, very good.
And then they say, well, you got to take this to family court. It's like, no, where does it say I have to take a claim for property to be in family court?
Okay,
well,
but here's the thing, Karl.
That's a child. It's like, you might define it as a child. I define it as property. Now, who's making a claim, court clerk lady? Are you making a claim, or am I making a claim?
Well, of course, grandma's petition actually, morphed into a case number, a cause number, like family court. And so whenever
that's grandma's case.
Exactly,
case.
Because I heard from a call once before from you. I mean, if they make a claim, then you make a claim, you bring your own claim. But here's the thing, when he goes into court or when he went to the county recorder, the clerk's office, he basically went down there to go and ask them, how much does it cost to make a claim? And they were like, I think they know and recognize this guy because he's been back and forth down there about that. And I don't know, I hear some feedback, but
a lot of feedback.
Basically, they recognized him, and when he went to ask how much would it cost for him to file his claim, they were trying to, divert the man to file all of his paperwork into their claim, into grandma's claim.
Okay.
By the way, grandma's claim was only a petition.
Sir, hang on. Yeah. If anybody's having a hard time with the court clerks, the simplest thing to do is put a lousy stamp on it and mail the damn thing with a check and be done.
Be done with it, huh?
Be done. No discussion at the counter, no nothing. They have to accept it. They stamp it. They file it. It's done.
And that's even in the case of a new case.
That's simple, right? I couldn't drive down to Alabama. I filed the case. I just put a stamp on it, put the money order in it, and done.
Okay.
If I stood at the window, you don't think they would have gave me a hard time to try to file my case? Because the individual in charge of Alabama's Department of Social Services was the chief federal district court judge in the federal district court in which I was filing my claim. You don't think the court clerks would have been trying to defend the chief judge of that district federal court by not accepting my claim? Of course they're told not to take any of my paperwork. So you just put a lousy stamp on and mail it. If somebody orders you, you're due fair and just compensation. And like the man over in England, he's been doing great over there with the government over there because people are calling him up like crazy. And he's going into courts and he's going into government meetings with these people. And they said, are you ordering this man to do X, Y, and Z? And they were like, yes. It's like, well, on this piece of paper, it says he must do this, he must do this, he must do that. And they're like, so why don't you just change that word from must to order? And they said, well, it means the same thing. It's like, no, it doesn't mean the same thing. You mean like when you go to McDonald's, the lady at the counter says, oh, sir, can I take your must? No, the lady would say, can I take your order? So must doesn't make any sense in that sentence. So just put the word ordering down there, and this man will be glad to carry out your public servant's orders, and I'll make sure that he carries out your orders. See, he's not saying why, because the public servants know. They can't order you. Some cops will just start freaking out. It's like, no, I'm not ordering you. Then what do we have to talk about today, sir? Well, I want your driver's license. It's like, okay, just order me. Well, I'm not going to order you. Well, then what do you want to do, sir? Well, I want it. Okay, just order me. Just say, I order you to give me your driver's license. Just order me, and I'll carry out your orders. What's the problem? Most cops just say, yes, it is an order, because they don't know. But I talked to a young state trooper the other day, and I said to him, I was driving my sister's van, and he stopped me, and he said, her tags are expired. I said, oh, yeah, December's her birthday. They expire on her birthday. It's January. Oh, that's right. I said, I shall get them registered. And he says, oh, okay, I shall be right back. So he went to his car and he came back with a ticket. I said, oh, that's lovely. I said, but you were clear. You clearly heard me say, I shall register. He says, yes, I heard you say that. I said, you do know what the word shall means, right? And he says, yes, they trained us at the academy. That shall means something in the future, that you haven't really done anything wrong today, but they still told us to just write out tickets anyway. I said, do you realize what you just said to me? I said, do you realize that what you just said is systemic? It's within an organization to be doing something illegal and unlawful. You're telling me you were trained that you know what the word shall means, that I'm not doing anything wrong because the future hasn't occurred yet, but you still are trying to find me and penalize me for something that I have yet to do? I said, have a lovely day, sir. And I said, I'll be so glad to see you in court on April 2nd. And you explain yourself to the court what you just did. I said, stay safe out there, kid, and drive safe, and, God bless you. And I left. I just laughed because he told me that the academy teaches the state patrol officers what the word shall means, that they don't have any jurisdiction or control or capacity to order a man to do anything. And they know shall means something in the future, that at some time in the future, maybe the government will have control over man. Maybe we could order man to get a car registered. But we can't order a man to get a driver's license. We can't order a man to get a registration. We can't order a man to get an inspection sticker. But man is tricked. We'll trick them by using the word shall. And they'll think shall means must. But we, as government, know we can't order a man to do a freaking thing. So see, they're teaching these troopers they can't order a man to do anything. So that's the whole thing that you got to try to get in your head.
Okay. And so then I took the ticket back and I returned it, and the court clerk told me she was going to throw it in the trash. Then I filed that notice to cease and desist against the officer, against the court clerk, the city attorney, because at first they told me the city attorney would be prosecuting it.
What's the ticket for?
And failure to stop.
Okay.
And so then still found out it was on the docket, so showed up in court, and the judge let me read a statement where I had basically listened to your stuff and had written all of the things down to say.
What did you say? What did you say?
I said, well, ma'am, I was traveling the other day and this officer stopped me, and as far as I know, for no reason. I harmed no one and damaged no property. If I did, I'd like to find out who and settle with them. Now this officer is bringing this complaint against I, and I don't answer complaints. I returned the complaint with a letter in good faith to Pam, the court clerk at the window, and told her I was not willing to contract with them. I followed up with a cease and desist notice along with my fee schedule, which I sent certified mail to the officer, the clerk, and the city prosecutor, who I was told would be prosecuting the case, since I know that you can't prosecute it. And today I find that this matter has not been taken care of, and I know you don't want to violate your oath of office. I know you can dismiss or discharge this matter, and I'm waiting for your answer. I am a woman, so act accordingly.
Ma'am, you just used my stuff, Billy Thornton stuff, Dean Clifford stuff, Winston Shroud stuff, Freeman of Montana stuff. You used everybody's theories in one letter. I just say, who's the man who's going to come forth and make the claim? I'm here to compensate any man I've done wrong. That's all I say. But you use Billy. I mean, you use everybody. I mean, you just threw the whole kitchen sink with all the pots and pans and spoons and everything at this poor lady judge, and she's like, "What is this? What?" This is like every free man speech, dialogue, rhetoric I've ever heard in my life. It was good. It was funny, but no, my thing is one sentence, two sentences. I'm here to settle a debt. Who's making a claim? I owe a debt. Who's claiming I did wrong?
Well,
that's
she, because this was arraignment court, and she was just pushing it on, and you were either supposed to plead guilty or not guilty, or you were going on to trial, and so so she kept. Did you
listen? Did you listen to my very first on this talk show thing I got? I think it's 127469. I said, Karl destroys Gordon, because Gordon was trying to get jurisdiction on me. Gordon was trying to arraign me. And all I said to Gordon is, may I have leave of court for pen and paper? He says, what happened if they just drag you in irons and chains? I said, can I have a piece of paper pen? So you had a paper and pen. All you had to do is present to the court. It's like, I have this notice to present to the court, and hand a copy of the notice to the court. I am here to settle a debt. Who is the man who's going to come forth to claim that I've done wrong and not settle the debt? That's all I'm here to do today. I'm here to settle any debt that any man claims is due and true. That's it. You make something really simple like that, and you pass the notice to everybody in the court. And the judge says, all I want to hear is guilty, not guilty, no contest. It's like, okay, did you not get my notice? Yes. Okay, that's all I have. I've answered the court. I've put a proper answer before this court. Do as you wish. And that's it. That's how you handle an arraignment.
Okay.
Let them bear the liability of guilty, not guilty, and no contest.
Well, she looked at me and she asked me again what I was gonna plead, and I told her that I, had given my statement and I'd given her a chance, and I had a claim ready to file, and I believe that I had the right to free travel, and the Supreme Court believed I had the right to free.
See, this is your problem. This is what I'm telling everybody's problem is that they got a tongue attached to their throat. You're supposed to do everything in writing. If that, ma'am, this is not just you, ma'am, everybody who's listening to this thing. When you get asked a question in court, you ask for leave of court, and the judge will say, "Why? I want to answer the court properly. I'm going to require of this court to give me leave of court so I could give a proper answer." And he'll say, "How long will that take?" About 2-3 minutes, and then you write it down, and then you hand it to them. You don't get into a conversation with these people verbally. You will lose. There is no way in the world you're going to hold your own in court. You do it all in writing, and you hold them all liable, because if the judge wants to enter guilty, not guilty, no contest on you, what do you say? Can I have leave of court, Your Honor? What? I would like to answer the court whether, you wish to enter the leave on my behalf. Good. Can I have leave of court for a second so I can properly answer the court? Yes. Yeah. Let me write this down real quick. And you say, you will bear all liability. Whoever enters a plea on my behalf will bear liability. And that's it. The judge knows what you're doing by just saying, if you enter anything on my behalf, if you order anything on my behalf, like you order 10,000 pancakes, you're going to be liable for that order. If you're going to order me to reappear, if you're going to order me to appear in 20 days to answer this, you're going to bear liability. I did that once for my sister back in 2007, 2008. The judge was like shit in a pickle. He was looking around the courtrooms like, who wrote this? Who wrote this? Because in the civil matter, they can't compel you to fight. They can't compel you to put up your dukes and fight, or they can't say, when you go to court, it's supposed to be like it's a battle. Instead of people shooting each other at dawn, pistols at dawn, they wanted to handle it civilized. With that Alexander Hamilton, Burr, they killed each other. They said, that's enough. We're going to have to settle our squabbles amongst man in a civilized manner in a courtroom. So we're going to promote this civil courts. So like I said, it's a very simple rule in Virginia that I know of that I used. It's a Virginia Supreme Court ruling. What is it? 2? I'll try to get it. I'll try to get it down in a couple of minutes. But it's a very simple. It's 2. I can't remember if it's 2FB. But it says something very simple, that if anybody orders the case to move forward and both parties aren't ready to move forward, the person who orders the case to move forward is going to be liable. So I'm trying to remember 2. I'll find it in a couple of minutes. I'll Google it real quick on my computer, what it is, the Virginia Supreme Court. So, but nobody can compel you to fight. Nobody can compel you to do anything. They can't order you to answer. They can't order you to open up your mouth. They can't order. And if somebody wants to if somebody wants to enter in something on your behalf, you just tell them that, you put in writing that they're going to bear liability.
So I'm supposed to show up March 4th, and there's a judge, and the police officer is the one who's prosecuting this claim against me. So I do not speak. I just hand them written.
Everything, you got to do everything in writing. You have to stop talking, because every time you start talking, they get jurisdiction. What if they're talking Chinese to you? They're talking legalese to you. They're talking Cantonese. They're talking Vietnamese. They're talking legalese.
Well, what happened to how you said where you go into the court and you ask if anyone has a claim against?
You put it in paper. I put it on paper. I put it on paper. Go listen to my very first talk show with Gordon Hall. Gordon Hall was going bananas because I said, Gordon, I don't have a tongue attached to my throat. I would never be stupid enough to open my mouth and utter anything in open court. Gordon, I've been doing this a long time, and even I'm not stupid enough to open up my mouth. And all you people who have no experience whatsoever are opening up your mouths. And I'm not crazy enough to open up my mouth. What makes you people to think that you should open up your mouth and speak legalese, Cantonese, Vietnamese? They speak in a completely different language.
And when is the time for you to open your mouth? Because I've heard you say you need to speak it.
Only when a man is speaking to you. You have to know if you're speaking man to man. Oh, yeah, in the Supreme Court, the Virginia Supreme Court rule is it's VSR 7, like 8, it was 5, 6, 7. 7B, like Bravo 2, 7B2, and that's the one that you could basically base it off of, the 7B2. The 7B2 basically just says that you can't be compelled to fight or defend yourself or do anything until you're ready, until you're damn good and ready. If it's a civil matter, you move when you're ready to move. That's why people always say civil trials are horrible, or when civil lawsuits are horrible, because it could go on forever. Like, especially with attorneys, they could just bounce it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth forever. It's civil. You can't force somebody to fight until they're ready to fight. You can't force somebody to stand their ground and say, okay, in civilized, you still have a chance to prepare and get ready, It lasts forever. That's the rule in Virginia. So Virginia Supreme Court Rule 7B2. Otherwise FB2. It's 7B2. But I haven't done that. Looked for that silly rule in years. But like I said, that's just something that you guys could refer back to and say, oh, I see what you're saying. So there's probably something in Texas or California and Oregon, basically the same thing in civil proceedings, that you can't force me to move forward with my, my defense, my claim, my case, until I'm ready. They can't force you to fight in a civil matter. It's not civilized. So like I said, I say as little as possible when I go into court. I just say, did you not understand the notice? Did you not read the notice? What part of the notice did you not understand? I'm just here to settle a debt. That's the only way you could force me into court that I've done wrong. Who is coming forth to make the claim that I have done wrong? It's that simple. Who's here to say I broke the law?
Okay. Okay.
If the cop says, well, this is the law. No, that's a code. It's a code. It's not the law. There is a public law. It's enrolled somewhere on parchment, somewhere in the state capitol, in some sort of congressional library or legislative library. The public law is an enrolled document somewhere at the state capitol. What you're quoting is a codification of the law. You're getting a little snippet. You're taking out of context what the law truly reads. Now, are you going to bring the law into the court and unroll the public law and read the public law into the record? Or is this going to be a lawless court and you're just going to say that this is a code? But if you try to open your mouth and you try to utter what I just said, you're going to look like a moron. You see what I'm saying? So you try to put it as simple as you can on paper.
I know. So you just take paper in there and then I just answer them with paper and hand it over?
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Okay. You say, I require leave of court. And me and Bali did it. It was funny. When Bali did it, I thought everybody would laugh when he says, I need leave of court. And the judge says, why? He says, I need to wee-wee. In the United States, we think that's wee-wee. What are you, 3 years old? But no, nobody in the court laughed. Everybody's like, oh, I guess that's the way they say, I got to go to the bathroom. So we would go to the bathroom. I'd go to the bathroom with them, and I'd write something down on a piece of paper for him.
Okay. So what do I do when they dismiss or not dismiss this, but say that they're going to put a bench warrant if I don't pay?
Why don't you make a claim that somebody's filing a false complaint into the court and saying that I have done no wrong. I have done no wrong. I've broken no law. I am just a woman going from point A to point B, and I have done no wrong. This man is bringing a false claim into the court that I've done wrong. I've done no wrong. I've injured nobody.
We did do that claim.
Oh, you did make a claim.
Well, I haven't. We didn't file it. I didn't know at what point I was supposed to take that into them.
Because I'm sure your claim is more than 3 or 4 sentences, isn't it?
Yes, it's a page long. We sent you a copy in your email.
Yeah, it should be right. It should be 3 or 4 sentences and you're done. Say this man has claimed that I have done wrong. This man said that I failed to stop. It's just simple. What did he say what is his claim that you've done? By my non-failure to stop, I still have caused no harm, no wrong, no injury. This man is making a false claim that I owe a debt. So you just got to pull yourself away from being a driver. You just got to say, I'm a man or I'm a woman going from point A to point B. Okay, let's just put it this way. Say you, like that movie, the Omega Man, and you're like Will Smith made the remake, and you're the last man on planet Earth, last woman on planet Earth. Are you going to stop for every freaking stop sign? No. Why? Because you realize you're not going to harm anybody, hurt anybody. So why bother? It's advisory. It's all advisory. It's the same thing. Like say you saw a bus, hitting 2 or 3 cars behind you because the driver fell asleep. And what are you going to stay at the stop sign and say, oh, I better not go through a stop sign because I'll get a ticket? No, you're going to blow through that stop sign and get out of the way of the bus. All advisory. All these codes are for the benefit of man. They're here to advise us how we should act, how we shall act, how we should do something in the future. It's advisory. Because whatever you say, well, I stayed at that stop sign and that bus plowed right into me, and it broke both my legs. So I'm going to sue the state legislators because they intimidated me. They made me so scared to go through that stop sign. The cops made me so scared that I go through a stop sign that the bus broke both my legs. And they'll say, well, why don't you just get the hell out of its way? And I said, well, there's a stop sign there. They say, all of these codes are advisory. They're just there for your benefit. You got to use, your better sense of your own judgment to act or not act in a certain manner. If you believed it was in your best interest and nobody's going to be harmed, then, it's just advisory. They just put it there to help people because they take all the stop signs away. Everybody's going to be freaking out every time they come to a crossing. So they're lovely advisements. It's nice that somebody actually spent the money to put stop signs up, but it's all advisory. There's no law that says you have to stop. It's advisory.
Right.
Yeah. It's
so
advice.
I thought
good advice, but you chose not to take the advice. So you chose not to take my advice. Okay. Was anybody hurt? No. Did you hurt anybody? No. Then what's the point?
Exactly.
And if you read the code, if you read the code, ma'am, I can almost guarantee, if you read the code, it says all drivers shall stop. Okay?
Right.
Sometime in the future, you shall stop. So how could they give you a ticket for something that you ain't done yet? Go look at the code. Look at the code. I guarantee you Oregon code. And that's what somebody called me up the other day from some state. He said, Karl, Atlanta. I wish the man from Atlanta was calling up, a pizza delivery guy. He said to me, oh, my God, Karl, he was a second mark from Atlanta. There's 2 marks from Atlanta who doing this silly stuff with pot and stopping their cars and not stopping the tickets or whatever. Then one man from Atlanta read it. He said, oh, my God, Karl, every single code for traffic says shall. I said, right, sometime in the future, you shall stop. He didn't say you had to stop today. He didn't say you had to stop right now. It says in the future, you shall stop. Yeah, when the government sometime has control over you. But at this time, well, unfortunately for the government, they don't. Unfortunately for man, we have control over our own actions or inactions. And we can't hold the government liable. Because you can say, look, you said right here in your code book that I shall stop. And since I stopped, I broke my legs. No, ma'am. Sometime in the future, you shall stop. That's what shall means. It doesn't mean must. It says shall. Read the damn thing. And they'll say, oh, that's bullshit. We thought it meant shall means today. No, shall is future tense. And that's what I tell people. Go Wikipedia. It takes you 2 seconds to hit your keyboard, shall, Wikipedia, future tense. Not present, not past, something that'll occur in the future. The government officials are incredibly intelligent by writing these codes because they know using these silly little words like shall makes you people believe that it means today. Oh, all drivers shall stop. It doesn't say must stop. It's like will and shall. Will, something in the future. When somebody dies, they'll read their will and say what I'd like to do when I carry on from this planet Earth. When I'm no longer here, this is what I will you to do. It's future, not present. So like I said to people, that's a simple way to get out of a lot of that nonsense. Is just say, doesn't your statute say I shall stop? Yeah, what does that mean? Sometime in the future? Is the future here? No. Like I tell people all the time, mess with your mom like that. So your mom says, go mow the lawn. I said, okay, Mom, I'll go mow tomorrow. Sunny day, next day, pops up, boom. Mom says, you're going to mow the lawn. I said, I told you yesterday. Well, I told you tomorrow I'll mow it. And she'll say, oh, don't play that silly tomorrow never comes. Well, that's what the government does to you guys. They say shall. Well, shall never comes. It's that simple. Then they know what they're doing. They're just messing with you, just like I mess with my mom. So, yeah, tomorrow I'll wash your car. And then next day, the sun comes up and Mom says, "You gonna wash my car today?" Today? No. I thought we agreed on tomorrow.
All
And
right.
That's what the government is doing to you. It's like, oh, I thought I must stop. No, you shall stop. I was telling you, it's just a game. They're playing word games, you people.
Okay. Thank you, Karl.
All right. He can call me if he wants to. I like that guy, man. I haven't talked a fake name since like April or May. He just dropped off planet Earth.
Okay, we're going to move on.
All right.
Here. All right, Walking Truth. Let me see.
Walking
there you go.
Truth.
You've been unmuted. Do you have a question for Karl?
Hi, Andrew. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is JB in Tampa. How you doing, Karl?
All right.
Thanks for I think one of my questions was just answered with the lovely conversation you just had with this lady, because I was confused when we should talk as well, because it sounds like you're advising a lot of feedback in court. But basically, if I go listen to the Gordon Hall one, which I haven't listened to many of them, but I haven't listened to that one. Basically, every time an answer is required, I just take a quick leave of court, write the answer down, hand it in, and if they don't respond accordingly, then I can say something as simple as, did you receive my notice? Did you read my notice? Did you understand my notice? But that would be it.
That's it. That's perfect, man. That's simple.
Okay.
They love it, man. That their whole world is two-dimensional paper world. They love it, man. Just communicate them at the level that they understand. See, the judge or guy in a black robe is just like the interpreter between the two-dimensional and the third dimension. So he's the interpreter between black and white and three-dimensional. So keep it on their level. Never, ever cross. Let them drag your third dimension into their second dimension. They're running parallel tracks, man. It's like parallel rails. Don't ever cross over, because they'll run you over. That's what I did in England. It was a lot of fun. For 5 hours, we were running parallel. I mean, the other side was trying to compel me to answer something in legalese. Just make a call. Just say something in legalese. Just cross over our side. Just cross into our dominion, our world, into our realm. Just say it, Karl. Just cross over. Just make one precedent, one citation, one ruling, one statute. Please just do it, so we will run you over. We will hold you in our jurisdiction, and we will slaughter you. And I just ran parallel in the common law side. And I was trying to tempt them to come over. And every time they tried to come over, I just smashed them. They were like, it's like, boom, boom, boom. And the poor judge was laughing his behind off. You know,
let me ask you a question right there.
I flat out just said to the barrister.
Let me stop you right there and ask you a question. When you say you tried to get them to come over, how did you draw them back to the common side? Did you do it via a written?
No, I was just. When we made our case to the Crown, when we made our case to the judge, what I was saying, speaking in common law. And it was funny. The barrister would try to say, "Well, what you did was wrong. What this man?" I said, "You mean an officer? Or you mean a man?" It's like, "Well, he's an officer." "Well, is this France?" It's like, "What? Is this a common law land?" "Yes." "Does a man stand in court?" "Yes." Where does an officer stand in a common law court in a common land?" It was so funny watching the poor guy saying, "Look, this isn't France. This is a Napoleonic code. This is a man. This is a law of man. This is a land that abides by the common law." So is there a man who's going to make a claim today that any one of these three people have done wrong? Well, they did this. Look, sir, I already agreed that everything they did was illegal. I already agreed that they're guilty of everything that they've been charged with. Fine. Lovely. But is this France? No. And they have done nothing wrong in this common law land. They have not done anything wrong in England, have they? In France, yeah. But is this not a common law land? Yes. Do they not have to do wrong? Yes. Did they do something unlawful? He says, "Well, they did." I said, "That's illegal, what they did. And they're guilty of that as charged." Whoop-de-doo. Big deal.
Okay, so this is the part that I think confuses part of your audience and your followers is you did have this tete-a-tete back and forth with them in that vein. But normally, if you were trying to answer something, you would only do it by paper. But you did.
I never talked directly to the barrister. We always talked directly to the judge, who was the interpreter between the second dimension and the third dimension, between statute and legalese and law and man. We talked directly to the judge. That's what the judge will tell you. Don't look over at the other side. Don't talk to the other side. Talk to me. I'm the interpreter. I'm the judge. I'm the referee here.
Okay,
Address
so
me.
let me ask you this, and you just told the other lady she can talk when she's talking directly to the man, but now I'm supposed to talk to the barrister or the judge.
No, when only a man takes the stand. A barrister can't take the stand. So when you're addressing the court, you're addressing either the judge, you're addressing the man who's taking the witness stand. You're talking to a man. You could talk to a man. If the man is saying, if the man took this, say I owed you a debt or you owed me a debt, and you took the stand against me, I'm going to talk directly to you. Sir, do I know you? Do you know me? How do you claim I owe the debt? I will talk to you. But the other side, like a barrister or a state prosecutor, is like, if he says I owe a debt, it's like, oh, is that true? Good, take the stand. And I will talk to you once you're on a stand. Well, he said, I can't take the stand. Then there's nothing for me to say. I only talk to a man who could come forth and make a claim I owe the debt. Do you know if I owe the debt? Do I owe it to you? Do you know if it's true? No, I don't know anything. Then what the fuck are you talking? Why are you saying anything in this courtroom?
So you say that much to him to get him to take the stand, but when he doesn't, then basically the conversation is over. Why are we here?
Right. The judge will say, then you know the law. So like my sister did that when I said that to people. My sister got divorced. She wanted $20,000 for retaining fee. I told my mom and dad, don't give her a dime. My sister, she loves me to death. We do anything for each other. I said, you're not getting a freaking dime from us. You can handle this on your own. Your husband's got 3 lawyers. Yes. His lawyers, I guarantee you, advise him not to say anything, to just sit there because he's guilty of infidelity. Yes. Good. All you need to do is, as soon as you hear anybody other than your husband open his mouth and open court, because she was the one moving the claim of for the divorce, if anybody opens up their mouth on the other side, you immediately object and say, does any of this person who's speaking now at this time have any firsthand knowledge of any of the anything that has transpired between the relationship between me and that man over the last 20 years? Yes or no? If they do, let them be sworn in now under oath of affirmation, take the stand so we could use it, so we could have it placed upon the record. So as soon as the poor attorney lady tried to speak, my sister said, I object. And the judge said to my sister, wait a second, you had your turn. You said what you had to say. Now it's their turn. No, it's his turn. I'm making a claim against him. If he wants to answer the claim, let him speak now or forever hold a peace. If he doesn't wish to speak now, oh, well, I order the court to award me what I wish. So then, like I said, the attorney for the other side tried to say, but Your Honor, we're here to represent him. And then the judge said, well, you know the rules. Do you have any firsthand knowledge of any of the events that transpired between these two people over the last 20-something plus years? No. She said, then, lawyer lady, you need to sit down. And then she said, but Your Honor, and then she said, now you need to sit down and shut up. You know the rules. And my sister said, the next thing happened was the 3 attorneys said to her husband, you better take the stand because the judge is about to award her everything. You better say something in your defense because it's over. We can't do anything for you. She just knocked us out. Now you better come forth and you better say something. So he did take the stand, and my sister just knocked him out anyway because he wasn't prepared. He had nothing to defend himself with. So he came in with 3, because he was a Gambino. They had big money. They knew all the judges. They had all the attorneys. They had everything. And I said to my sister, you're not going to beat them with an attorney. You're wasting your time. You're going to have to knock the attorneys out of the game. Just take them out. Just say this, and it'll be all over. And she did, and it was all over. She loved it. She had a good time.
Okay.
I wish I could have been there.
Oh, yeah. I would have loved it. It was a judge lady, too.
Well, let me lay just a little bit of groundwork here. I've been defending my own foreclosure for 6 years. Primarily, I had the most success when I studied Bill Thornton and used his writs of error for about 2 years. And somewhere along the line, they kind of got me off track. I didn't know how to really close the deal, and we've been off doing legalese, for lack of a better term. But it all started when in 2008, I actually won with a simple challenge of jurisdiction. My case was dismissed with prejudice by a judge, but the judge was retiring the next month. And so he retired. My case was dismissed. Estoppel was in place, but they kept filing into the case. And this has been going on for an additional 5 years, and I've strung it out. Now, just before I found out about you, like a month before, I was at my wit's end. We were ready to go to trial after 6 years. They finally got it to where they were going to go to trial. And I didn't know what to do, so I filed for bankruptcy. And we've come out the other end while I've been listening and studying to you. But I'm in bankruptcy court with an adversarial proceeding. And I'm bringing a claim against them and the under the auspices of the bankruptcy court, and the claim is basically for a violation of my due process.
Wow.
And for a breach of a common law trust, which I set up with the plaintiffs.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I love common law trusts. I mean, that's how I got the folks out of England out of one of the crimes or offenses they were charged with was putting forged commercial paperwork into the public. And I said, well, they audited out of their trust. And I had to explain to the judge 3 times in open court what a common law trust was compared to a public trust. And the poor barrister was going crazy, using hours of, citations, codes, statutes of what you have to do when you create a trust. I said, that's a trust in the public. I concur. You got to go to the county recorders. You got to disclose the beneficiaries. You got the trustee, the grantor, da, 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 da. I said to the judge, that's lovely. I'm not arguing anything. He's the best barrister I've ever seen in my life. I said, but what I'm telling you is, if you got a trust in common law, you don't have to disclose any of the contents to anybody. And it was funny how I explained it to the judge, and I did it 3 times. And then when it came up with the ruling, he said, okay, fine, because he said they were guilty, the forgery, forged instruments in the public, da, da, da. But he said, fine, this is a common law land. Okay. So he's like, they didn't do anything wrong. And okay, so the charges, of entering a forged commercial paper into the public through a trust, he said, fine, that's discharged as well. So it's just funny because, like I said, you going through bankruptcy, so you're in the United States Federal District Court, you're saying, correct?
I'm in the United States, the bankruptcy section of the district court. Yes, the adversarial proceeding is filed under the umbrella of the bankruptcy court, not really USDC.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is I try to get people away from these any kind of statutory courts, codified courts. Or you're moving under some sort of Title 26, 16. You're moving under some sort of crazy code.
Correct.
And this is what happened to the poor Dean Clifford guy. When he got arrested, he was an expert with the codes. He and his crew knew every code on planet Earth that pertained to Canada and Canadian Constitution, all sort of stuff. The problem is that they said on his when he was talking from jail, was they modified amended the codes. So when he was ready to place all of his, work before the court, before the Crown, all of it was utter garbage because they amended all the codes. So it's a very dangerous game you're playing by relying upon their codes, because they could change their codes at will, and there's absolutely nothing you could do to deal with the interpretation or amendment or the modification of their codes. And all I teach people is how to talk like a man when you go to court, how to stand on a common law, how to stand on a common law side. We won't have a common law for maybe 40, 50 years. Hopefully, it'll be as long as I'm alive. We'll have a common law system in this country. But eventually, it's all going to be codified. I know it's going to be all sort of one world order, new world order. Of course, it's going to be, because the kids aren't learning what I'm teaching. So they're just, you folks just do it. A police officer waves a badge, so all of you guys just say, "Oh, it's the law." No, it's not. It's not the law. It's all advisory. Do what you wish. You're a man. You only got so many spins around the sun. Don't hurt nobody, and rely upon a common law for your defense. That, hey, I didn't hurt nobody. That's nice that a whole bunch of women decided to sit around and say everything I do is illegal. Thank you that I got to wear a bubble suit from the time I'm born to the time I die. Thank you for being a nanny state. But I think I got this. I don't think I need your help, and then certainly not. I don't, require anything of you.
Okay, let me ask you this question, Karl. Let me try to just take this a step further. I realize that this is not in the vein of what you're teaching exactly, but I'm already in the BK, and I'm trying to use the AP proceeding to my advantage while I'm there. I do have a foreclosure that's been stayed back in the regular state, county court. So I filed the paperwork with a common law court of equity, tried to set the jurisdiction myself in common law. They're still putting me, of course, in all the paperwork. I didn't do this. They're putting me as pro se online. And I've read your case filing.
Oh, yeah. You don't have a choice. When you're in the United States District Court, you are pro se. When you're at the United States District Court, you're a man.
Yeah, but I filed it into the bankruptcy court of the United States, not the
U.S. You just said it. You just said you filed it into, not at.
Well, I didn't. I don't want to play semantics with you. On my heading, my paper heading, it says bankruptcy court in small letters of the United States.
Okay,
So
that's not going to help you. That's not going to help you.
Common law attack.
That's not going to help you. If you went to go to a federal court and you wanted to claim that you were, well, a man can't be bankrupt. So that's what people don't understand. As long as a man is alive, even if he's dead, you could harvest his organs. A man is always worth something. So you can't say that a man is void of any value. I mean, that's ridiculous. You're not bankrupt. So, when you say bankruptcy, you should know what the word means when you just say, I have value and I have worth. Just at this time, the other side doesn't, believe that what I claim has value, it believes has value. It's like I have a pocket full of Canadian, English, and American money in my United States money in my wallet right now because I've been over there and I got their money. Now, I can't obviously pay somebody with Canadian money because it's 70 cents on a dollar, and English money is 17 cents for every 10 cents. It's 1 to 7 to 1. So some people would say this money has no value, that money has no value, that money has no value. And money is just a medium of exchange in which two parties agree has worth. So this poor man, when he went to bankruptcy court the other day, the lady said, do you have any money? And he says, no. I said, of course you have money. Of course you have a medium of exchange that's worth, that has value. I said, you fix my cars for me, I do your legal work for you. Or you take care of my cattle for me, and I'll take care of your dog. What part of money don't you understand? This lady's just asking you, do you have money? And you said no. You say, yes, I have a lot of money. It's like, oh, good. It's like, yeah, just at this time, this man doesn't believe that my money that I wish to offer to him has any value. Like some man in Indiana paid me like 800 bushels of corn. Now, obviously, I don't have a truck to hold 800 bushels. So I found a broker. The broker gave me cash. I took the green. The broker took the corn and gave it off to a farmer somewhere. Who knows? But that's what I'm saying. You guys got to start understanding what money means and bankrupt means and value.
This is a question concerning a speeding ticket. I sent a letter to the court objecting to the charge, and I got a nice letter back saying the court accepts your not guilty plea, and they scheduled a pretrial conference like 5 weeks from now. They said, sincerely yours, and that's nice. And then about 2 days later, I got an offer from the office of the DA from the county to dismiss the ticket fine in point if I participate in a traffic education program for a $200 fee. So it sounds like I want. It sounds like I want to do a conditional acceptance, or I'm concerned if I ignore that, they might come back and say, "Hey, we tried to settle with you."
Well, the big thing is whenever you're dealing with a traffic ticket, to me, the number one concern is to allow the other side, to make the other side aware, however you have to drill it into them as nicely and sweetly as you can. I am a man. There is no law that requires a man to obtain a license of any form to take an apparatus and go from point A to point B. There is no law that requires a man to get a license to move from point A to point B.
Excellent. Is the best way to do that via a notice or just a letter?
Yep, letter's fine, notice is fine. I do it as a letter. Say, can you show me where the law states that a man needs permission or a license to go from point A to point B? See, I got so tired of people saying travel, drive. I got so tired of these legalese words that I said, hey, how about we just make this simple? Do I need a license to go from point A to point B? Simple. It's like,
and wait for their answer.
And wait for their answer. Do I need a license to go from point A to point B? Well, if you're driving a car. I didn't say I was driving a car. I said I was going from point A to point B. Nobody said anything about transport. Nobody said about drive. Nobody said traveling. Do you believe I was driving? If they say, well, the cop believes you're driving. You mean Bob, who's a man, who's sometimes a cop, he believes I was driving? Well, driving to me is like hitting a golf ball with a mashie or a wood or a 5-iron or a putter. That's what I believe drive means. Or drive means I have great goals and ambitions in life. I have a great drive. Now, if he believes I was driving, okay, but what do you mean by driving? You know, because if it's ambiguous, you know, you can't hold me liable for it. I did that in court one time. It's hysterical. I used the word long. The thing was long. I said, okay, there's 3 definitions in Webster's alone. I said, I long for a lost dog, my lost home puppy, my lost homeland. Long as distance, as in, you know, travel distance, or long as a measure of time. Now, in this statutory code in which you bring forth into this court, what do you believe the word long means? And the assistant chief of police gave me the thumbs up from the witness stand. At least I saw him give me the thumbs up, because guess, buddy, what you think the word long means, because I could take your statute and wrap it into what do you think it means? And you think I'm not, and how? And like I said, again, what's the reason why you want to act always in the capacity of a man? Because you know, it's like, look, I know when I break the law as a man, I cause harm, injury, damage, or some sort of a loss. Now, when I operate as a driver of a motorized vehicle, I do not know the law, because your law is over 83 feet 6 inches thick. I don't know the law. So I wish to rather 99.99% of my life to just be a man traveling from point A to point B in any manner I wish, in a rocket sled, in a wave back machine, in a teleportation apparatus. You know, I want to just operate as a man, because it's easy for me to abide by the law of man. It's not easy for me to abide by your silly codes, because they're 10,000 feet thick. And like I said, one of the easiest ways to get out of any kind of traffic thing is like, wait a second, under 16.1-183, it says, I shall drive under 55, or I shall have a license, or I shall have a registration. Doesn't that mean sometime in the future I shall drive under 55? But the
interesting about
day.
Yep. That word shall, when you were talking about it earlier, I looked it up in an old Webster's, and it said the preterite is should, which gives another insight that it implies.
Implied.
Right.
It's not expressed. It's not good law. If that's what I say to people all the time. You guys got to really study the word expressed and implied. Are you implying, or is it expressed? If it's expressed, is my name in that statute? Do you have a photo of me in that statute? Like, see bad drivers, fast drivers, speeding drivers, see my photo being there? Like, there's no doubt about it. You know, expressed means it's absolutely, there's no doubt about it. You're talking about Karl Lentz. Are you saying, or it's implied that a driver, okay, at times I am a driver, guess what? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I'm a man. 13 minutes a day, I'm a driver. So am I a driver, or am I a man? And I think I'm a man.
Awesome.
I think I'd caution on the side of error, and I'd go in front of the jury and say, I think beyond a shadow of a doubt, right now you're looking at a man, not a driver. Would you say I'm a driver? Would you say I'm a man? No, you're definitely a man. But you could be a driver. That's right, I could be, but I'm always a man. That's right. So I'm standing here as a man. I'm not standing as a driver. Yeah, see, I just love playing with their words.
and do you think it would? It seems to me it would be premature if I filed a claim at this point, because I don't feel like I've been harmed yet. But would it be legitimate for me to file a claim based on
like I said, you just bounce their own words off their own heads, and they'll say he's a player.
All right, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll continue the series. Appreciate you guys being here. I think it's good information. Everybody should know it and practice with it. All right, I'm out of here.